Good morning. Starting 10 minutes early here. I'm getting antsy. I want to start. 10 minutes early is not too bad. I am starting with, do I want tab audio? No. I'm starting with a post that I made in, I think, my last live stream. What's your proof against Islam? I wanted to talk about something on my mind, which is when people talk about, when people ask this question, what's your proof against Islam? And this is more general than Islam, by the way. What's your proof against anything, whatever their position is? I often wonder what they consider to be proof. And I think about this because I know that stuff changes over time. So, for example, in murder cases, there was a time in the past where DNA evidence was not used. And that's because, and it's not that DNA tests didn't exist yet. It's that the courts didn't have the knowledge about DNA tests. So scientists had the knowledge, but the judges didn't yet. And then a little bit later, and I'm thinking this is the 1980s in the US. Some judges in some murder cases started using DNA tests. I'm not saying that right. It's not the judges deciding to use it. It's the lawyers, the prosecutors. And the judges have to just follow. Not fully follow. They're there as referee of evidence too. So for example, a lower court has to follow what a higher court said. So if a higher court decided that DNA evidence can be used, then the lower court has to also do that. I don't want to get into the complexities of that right now, but so if we consider the question, what would you consider as proof against a theory or your theory? And let's do an example of somebody committed murder. The answer to this question is different before and after DNA evidence started to be used in murder cases. So when people ask me, what's your proof against Islam? This is wrong here. Instead of I need to ask them, like I wonder, I've only done this a couple of times, I think. But what I wonder is, what do you consider as proof against a theory? Because by the way, I don't want to throw some proof at them that I know is proof, but they don't have an understanding about it, so they could use it. Similar to two judges in the 1980s, one understood, or the prosecuting lawyers, one group understood how to use DNA evidence and the other one didn't. So then the question is, if somebody asks me, what's your proof against Islam? Part of my questioning back would be, are you willing to improve the way you judge stuff like that? It shouldn't be frozen in stone. And, it makes sense in another way. Suppose we're talking about the span of a single person's lifetime. When you were 5 years old, maybe your reasoning was, for why you believe Islam is, my dad told me. And then now that you're 30 years old, you realize that logic doesn't work. You can't say that anymore. That is not why you believe Islam. You have to have something else. So in your own lifetime, you've been improving your reasoning. And there's no reason to stop at some random point in your life, 30 years old, like as if you know all about how proof works. And as if it doesn't improve. What we're doing in courts, in murder cases related to evidence, that stuff's not going to stop changing. It's going to keep improving. The rules of evidence keeps getting better over time as our technology gets better and our understanding of that technology gets better of like how to apply it in murder cases. So yeah, I posted this. Am I even on? Yeah. So hold on one second. I want to check that I'm doing something right. Come on. Which tab? Oh, there it is. Yeah. So yeah, I made this post yesterday during my live stream, and since then it has gotten so much attention. 120 comments, 118 net upvotes. So somebody replies, logic, reason, secular laws, common human decency, the fact that the main figure of Islam is a pedophile warlord. So it looks like they're just answering the title of my post. Sometimes that happens. It's not what I was expecting. I wanted people to read my post and address my post, not the title. So I asked them, what do you think of my post? And they mentioned something about hardcore. I noticed a lot of people got confused about, they thought I was trying to argue for using hardcore evidence, like DNA evidence, regarding Islam. That's not what I was saying at all. Those people were totally confused. Let's see. And then this person, it's a different person? Yeah. Was trying to say DNA evidence is irrefutable. And I was saying, no, it's not. The DNA evidence could have been tampered with by police, for example. And they thought I was saying that we then can't use DNA evidence. I wasn't saying that. You can tell here. Said otherwise, no evidence could stand up to scrutiny. Lots of evidence stands up to scrutiny, including DNA evidence, which is why we send people to jail. All right. This person is replying to this, I guess. Okay, they said pedophile, and then this person's sort of, without reading this yet, defending the legal age of marriage was 10 in the US in the 1800s. It was 12 in Europe. Okay. It's like 50 years ago. I get mad. Prophet only married women. So you agree that Islam's morality needs to be improved over time? How do you reconcile that with the idea that Islam is perfect and that Muhammad is the perfect moral example that all Muslims should follow? He's saying, this person's saying, my proof is that Islam has no proof. Different person replying. So I did my thing again. What do you think of my post? Because they didn't address my post. They just replied to the title. somebody said, different person, you surrendered the burden of proof debate and therefore lost the Islam debate before it started. So I asked them, how did I lose? You're not explaining. And oh no, why is that happening? This person says there's two ways you might have lost. By asking you for proof against Islam, they're asking you to prove a negative. That's not possible. It's like trying to prove the unicorns don't exist. I don't know why they're saying it's not possible. Point out one flaw and it's done. Don't know why you think it's not possible. Point out a single flaw and you're done. Islam debunked. For example, Islam says jinn are real, but they're not. Voila. Oh shit, here he is contradicting me right here in his next point. This is wrong. Logic, reason, is why we recognize that supernatural is not real. Burden of proof is on the person making the claims, not for you to disprove. They need to prove it, which of course no one has yet been able to do. What do you think of my post? Man, 8 people hated or hated me asking this question. And they said, you're setting yourself up to fail. So I asked, fail how? And then I explained my example. Point out one flaw, Islam debunked, but the jinn thing. And they said, I agree. Okay. But the truly indoctrinated will need you to disprove that. Those people will do that for anything, regardless of what I say. That's not a failure in me, but a failure in them. So you didn't point out unlike what you said. The problem is Muslims would turn this into a game. Yeah, and that's a problem for them, not for me. That's them failing, not me failing. Saudi being able to hike the prices of Hajj, this is what convinced them Islam is wrong. Your concept of God is shit. This person is a Muslim. Basic scientific errors that prove the whole thing to be folklore. See, it's weird. So many people hated me saying, playing along with the, what proof do you have against Islam? And a lot of people hated that, but plenty of people went along with it, just like me. It's so easy to point out a flaw. The thing is, most religious people, especially Muslims, will never be able to actually change their mind about their faith. If you ask them what would consider proof against Islam, they might say an error in the Quran, no one explained, and the problem with that is they will always find apologetics. So then I would be asking them, are you willing to improve your conception of what counts as proof against Islam? I find it ridiculous that we have to find reasons or anything for leaving a religion. We felt like it, and we don't need to justify anything. It's an ideology, literally doesn't affect anyone, but they act so dramatic about it and wonder why we retaliate. Retaliate. I don't know if that's the right word. It's not about what is real, but rather what is right. I don't think it's a moral religion, even if it were the one true religion or whatever. How could an immoral religion be a real religion? The fact that the Quran and Hadith claim that the Bible was corrupted okay. Dumb response. Burden of proof is on the Muslim, not the atheist. So I say, why do you believe that? And don't you think it's dumb to not say this explanation in the first comment? They think that this explains why it's dumb. It doesn't. This is like the title of an essay. You need the essay, or at least a fucking sentence explaining. So they replied, it's dumb because you're falling victim to a classic burden reversal. Again, that's just the title. Your response also sounds extremely pretentious. And they're saying also, this is like they're going to their next point, but they didn't even explain the first point. And so I say, you're still not explaining, you're just repeating phrases. So they say they're going to spoon feed me. And I again tell them, you're just defining what a burden of proof is, but you're not saying why it's bad or wrong. You're still not explaining. So then I say, your spoon feeding is messing up. You're getting food all over my face instead of my mouth. And they didn't reply, and I'm guessing they're not going to reply. They just put a downvote, and that's it. I wonder if I should make something about this burden of proof stuff. I don't need a solid proof to follow or leave a religion. That's the exact opposite of faith and belief. I don't get in debates anymore, but if any asked me, I would tell them, like the Christian heaven. It's hard to read, but I think I get what he's saying. He's saying Christianity is better. I agree. Christianity is better. And what they mean by better is the morality. And we're not talking about morality in a book. We're talking about morality the way people explain it and do it today. I don't care what's written in a book that nobody reads. Even for Islam, there's 1 billion Muslims. A tiny percentage of people know what's in the Quran or Hadith. So what Muslims are doing today mainly is what their parents taught them and what they're hearing in the mosques from the imams, not by what's written in the books. A lot of people don't want to be convinced, and they're really just aiming to bash whatever you say. And this person actually understood my post. You got the right idea by considering what, if anything, could convince them. Otherwise, why waste my time? Like, if I have 1,000 arguments against Islam, but all those 1,000 are things they don't agree with, why even say them? So now we're at the point of discussing what counts as proof. If you want to convince someone of your stance, you got to convey it in a way they can understand and accept. Everyone thinks in different ways, and their faith may well hinge on very different aspects. Yes, something stupid like, I believe in jinn, therefore Islam, something like that. Like, I don't know anyone actually thinks that way, but I think somebody said that recently, a couple days ago, or I think in this post. I think I'll be reading it in a few minutes, actually. Making sure to establish common ground always helps too. Yep. So their reply to what's your proof against Islam is God good or evil? If good, why children die? If evil, why worship? Yeah, this is really old logic too, like at least 2,000 years old. The burden of proof lies with the claimant because it is the party asserting the claim. Therefore, anyone who believes in such a non-verifiable fairy tale, or in this case Islam, should actually prove that they are right. To use your post as an example, innocent until proven guilty should be the correct stance. However, Muslims shift the burden of proof over to the other party, hence guilty until proven innocent, which is faulty, logical fallacy they like to use, blah, blah, blah. So, what do you think about my post, though? Especially the last sentence, last part. Let me remind myself, what is the last part? Last part. You want to improve that. I don't know that it's most. Yeah, some people do that. What proof would make you stop believing? And then when they cannot articulate further beyond proof and or proudly state nothing, yep. A lot of people do reply to that. Nothing would change my mind. So why are we talking? So they're saying their proof that against Islam is that there's no proof for Islam. I would not even get involved with someone who doesn't understand that you can't just flip around the burden of proof when it's convenient to you. Why don't you just say something so easy like this? Islam says jinn are real, but they're not. Hence, Islam wrong. In logical debates, one might argue that it's impossible to disprove something and the burden of proof is on LG. I don't know what LG. It's kind of a different case in that the religion's omniscient God says the earth is flat and we find evidence. Okay. But most Muslims refuse to accept or acknowledge what could be considered evidence. Yeah. Yeah. If God or gods were real and came down themselves to be like, hey, by the way, Islam isn't the true religion, it was just made up, Muslims would probably still cling to Islam. So it sounds like they're saying, I get what you're saying, and not but. Human thinking and common sense, morale. I mean, that's how you get the proof. It's not the proof. For me, it's more like, look at Allah and think of him as the one all-wise who created all. Muhammad, the normal guy. Yeah, I agree. If somebody uses their brain, they will realize Islam is false. Yes. All these Muslims that are Muslims is because they're not using their brain. Why wouldn't you just give them something to chew on? For example, Islam says jinn are real, but they're not. Hence, Islam wrong. Archaeology. Yes. If you look at the history books, they don't mention the characters that are mentioned in the religious books. This person gets into disagreeing with me on terminology. And I disagreed with them. I don't care about semantics discussions. And this person is confused to care about it. Okay. I think you worded this extremely well. So let's see if I can pronounce this name. Schwanz Liebe? I think you worded this extremely well. My guess is this is a girl, a woman, They used lipstick or whatever. Or maybe it's a gay guy. I don't know. They said, personally, my dislike of Islam is the violence and hatred they usually have toward women. Okay, this is another reason to say this is a woman. Women care about this more. I care about it. Men do care about it. Men should care about it. But I think women do care about it more because it does affect them more. Similar to, like, well, I don't want to get into that. Hold on. So their prophet married. Wait a minute. I want to start over and just read this verbatim without any of my commentary, and then I'll add my commentary. So Schwanz Libi says, I think you worded this extremely well. Personally, my dislike of Islam is the violence and hatred they usually have toward women. Their prophet married and fucked a child. Muslims are allowed to cheat, have 4 wives, but if a woman doesn't cover every inch of her body in black clothing in the heat of the desert, she is stoned to death or tortured by many random men. They are very, very cruel by nature. They indoctrinate their offspring to be that way and force it onto others. They want to dominate. They want to hurt people so deeply they are psychologically broken before being tortured and killed. They have many terrorist organizations who will not hesitate to brutally attack anyone who insults them. They're the villains. It is clear to see. They are less than animals, less than humans. They become enraged when any woman has a tiny bit of control, or even the smallest things. They want everyone to be slaves and women to be the slaves of slaves. And I replied, you worded that really well. And I told this person that I'm going to be reading their comment verbatim, like I'm doing now. And then I told them about the live stream. So what they're explaining here is just a really general overview of the whole thing. And this is a moral argument here. And I said recently in a video that what I find is people recognize that they can go after the Quran because it contradicts what we know about nature. But I notice people don't believe that they can refute Islam by pointing out how it contradicts what we know about morality. And these are all moral issues. For Islam to be the true religion, its followers better be morally better than everybody else. Otherwise, it is not the true religion. Or they want to hurt people so deeply they are psychologically broken before being tortured and killed. We keep seeing these videos of a madrasa. I don't know why they call it that. That just means school. It doesn't mean Islamic school. And the videos are of this adult man, 30, 40 years old, 50 years old, teacher, beating the children. And it's usually something like they're not reciting some Quran thing well. They are psychologically breaking these children. Simple mathematical errors in the Quran, which human believers had to try and correct. Like, for example, I guess inheritance rules. A man in a cave alone, visited by an angel, and he claims he's the prophet, and everyone believed him. Got it. It's worse than that. People believing their parents who just believed their parents or just believed somebody else. And worse than that, even, like 75% of Muslims can't even read what's in the Quran because it's not in the language they know. Yet they believe what's in it is true without having checked it themselves. No different than a 6-year-old American child believing in Santa Claus. So this is contradictions in the Quran. If you find one, that's enough. And yeah, caring about contradictions is a thing on its own. There's people who don't care about contradictions. I don't know that they would say that. They just, you can tell from their actions they don't care. I would just ask them about 91, 1 and 2. There's no denying the verse. It is a part of the Quran that is totally false. So what is 911? Damn, 911. Something about the sun and brightness. This is not a good website, and I don't care about this anymore. Scientific evidence is key. I don't think we should have waited for scientific evidence, though. I don't want to deal with any videos while I'm live streaming, at least right now, while I don't do this well. Yeah. Borrowing from the 4th century kids' fairy tales and Gnostic writings. Gnostic? I don't even know how to say this word. Gnostic? Makes the Quran useless. So you posted that what is considered as proof for Muslims to leave Islam. You used DNA test example and rant that which judge would be better, who have faith of DNA test and who don't. Now here I started. You believed in Darwin's theory. I remember this person. We went on a long discussion, and then he started the discussion over by making his own comment here, I guess for other people to read it. And they're talking about Darwin's theory. I never mentioned Darwin's theory. And they're saying something like, I need Darwin's theory in order to go against Islam's theory. No, I don't. I could just point out any flaw in Islam without using Darwin's theory. And I mentioned the jinn. They assumed they knew why I think there's no jinn. And they said that. It was a straw man. They shot down their own straw man. I clarified that. And then they wanted me to tell them why there's no jinn. And I said I would. I said, do you want me to give you Reddit posts I've made and YouTube videos, they said, no, just write it here. And I'm not interested in rewriting what I already wrote. Not about that topic, at least. And at least not for this person. So, says who believe in evolution theories? Oh, that's the same person. Oh, and this is where that discussion was. Yeah. Oh, is that it now? Oh, I think we finished it. Okay, so what are we in now? We're 41 minutes in. All right, so now I think it's time to go through all my saved comments and posts. Let's see. Ex-Muslim about to be dragged right back in. I like to, especially with long posts like this, I like to skim a little bit. Maybe like read the first half of the first sentence of each paragraph to get what they're wanting, what they're doing. Yeah. That sucks. Let's see what other people told them. Are you the only child? No replies yet from him. This is over a day ago. I think what I'll do is just leave this saved, see if other people reply. Look at this again tomorrow or the next day and see if I get a new idea. I don't want to just completely, I want to give this another chance. Okay, next one. Is hijab offensive to you as a man? Yeah, I saw this. I saw something. It doesn't seem interesting to me. I don't even know exactly what they mean by offensive. Like he said in there that he goes, I'm offended that a woman thinks they need to cover themselves from me as if I'm, this really bad person that's going to do bad stuff. So they're offended. And I understand that logic. I never thought of it that way before. Great. What kind of things was this? Oh, yes, this is a good discussion right here. So their post was, how did your thinking change, when you became an ex-Muslim? I said, what changed was that I went on a huge pursuit of learning that I never did previous to that. What kind of things? So there's a lot to say here. And I've already written this before. I might rewrite it a little bit, but I'm going to copy and paste. So let me go find that and let me show you guys where I'm looking for. So this is my spreadsheet where I keep all this philosophy discussion. And yes, I remember where to look. Right here. Yes, this is it. Copy. Reply. So I'll copy paste something with some edits. Okay. So I start by saying a little bit of the context of why I was a Muslim, or why I was still a Muslim, or why I hadn't left Islam yet. Okay, around this time. Okay, yeah, yes. This is explaining it. Yeah. Oh wow, I'm explaining a lot here. Okay, so I didn't even edit anything. I need to switch to Markdown editor. Switch back. And does it look good?
Nope.
Yes. Comment. Oh no. Why can I not create the comment? Is it too long? That can't be it. Did it happen? It did happen. Okay. Let's test it. Yes. Okay. Why did you leave Islam? I'm a Muslim. I do not want to debate. I'm planning on converting you. I'm not planning on converting you. I'll write something short. I left Islam when I realized that my ideas are different from Islam and far, 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 far superior. I cannot follow a religion. Let's see. That's enough. Marrying a Muslim man as an ex-Muslim woman. Advice needed? What kind of advice? Why do you want to marry a Muslim man? Okay. They're saying this is a troll post. Let me see if the OP replied ever. They replied once. Let's see. I reverted to Islam 6 months ago. To the people who left Islam, why that pulled you out of the fold of Islam? I left Islam when I realized that my ideas are different from Islam and far superior. Need perspective in interpreting Quran. Let's see what people said. Looks like they're handling it fine. Okay, this one verse could prove Islam's authority and truth for all ages. Okay. It looks like I went through everything in 53 minutes. All right, let's make some new posts. I'll reply to these first. Bold is copied from Google. What? Bold is copied from Google. Bold is from the movie itself. Google got it from that. You can upload your own. What? It's very deep. Otherwise, you wouldn't have used it. I'd rather have you link the place where you got it, the X post. The non-bold is stuff I wrote. Whenever you asked for our thoughts, I thought it wasn't impressive. It sounds like you got confused about it. Apologies for not being clear. I don't mean you personally are failing. It's the position that will fail, and you're right on the final point. It's their failure. Right. The position doesn't fail. The position doesn't fail. It's correct. Just because people don't understand it due to their own failures does not mean the position is incorrect. I'm sorry for bothering you, something like I'm sorry if I made you uncomfortable. I'm sorry if I in any case, I should be glad that people are using my ideas. So thank you. I showed you the confusion. All right, done with comments. Let's see. Next. Oh, hello. Amona. Amuna? I don't think I'm saying that right. Mona? I have a sister named Mona. Or Muna. My only audience right now, only one person. If there's anything you would like me to talk about, let me know. I'm free right now. I dealt with all the stuff that I'm doing. I am gonna, if you don't say anything, I'm gonna go ahead and start something else. Just making a post. What am I going to do? Let's see. Is it time to make another? It's Friday, and I want to make another what's it called? Fun at Fundies, something like that. I'm going to show this. I have all these posts, which are all, images for Friday. Feed the trolls. I want to do one that uses a GIF or GIF instead of one of the still images. Let me see. Feed them dynamite. Yeah, maybe that one. So let's see. Create. Upload. Feed the trolls. Link to what? Post. How? Link in first comment. Okay. So where's my link for the trolling situation? Right here. Yes. That's the perfect example thing. And then these two things. No videos about these yet, huh? Comment. Let's see. I already got 4 replies again. Oh. There's a post. I was on the subreddit where they were debating on if the hijab was doing more harm than good. I think it was a pretty productive conversation I had with a few people. Check it out. Can you give me the link? I don't know how to find it, like, with that information. Okay. Yes, I know. Probably should have complained a better way than the way I complained. Or not complained at all, whatever. Let's see. Yes. I was calling out your comment that DNA could be tempered as mediocre and inane. Yeah. Yes, and you misunderstood the point of the whole OP. Let's see. Okay. In an exmuslim view, Palestine is real and why? But as ex-Muslims, do you think the Jews have the right to own the state after all the shit they done, or Palestine? To own the state. Just sent the link. Oh. Okay. Let's see. Oh no, it's already been removed? Oh no. So it looks like your poster was removed. And by the way, I talked about your post yesterday, and it was so good. It was so interesting that I made a post replying to it, or I made a comment replying to it. Somewhere. There's so many comments here now. If I just... There. And you replied. If this is you... Oh, wrong link. Okay. Damn, that happened again. I think when people think about this kind of stuff, they should not only look at this one issue between the Jews and the Palestinians in that area known as Israel and Palestine. You should also look at all of the other ones on the entire planet, and you should have a general theory about how it works in general for all cases, and then apply that theory to this one particular case. And this gets into questions of like indigenous people and people emigrating to that area. And every country, pretty much every country, has dealt with this, as far as I know. Anyway, let's see. So I can't post again now, but I can at least prepare my next post. Let me get the link to my... Sorry. Also, thanks for reading my post. Yeah. Oh. Is this the right one now? Yeah, let's see. Damn it, again. Close that. Okay. This one. Yeah. I saw that one. I talked about it a little bit. I thought about it. I didn't reply. I go ahead and reply now because you wanted me to look at it. So I was saying earlier, I'm trying to understand what this person is saying to begin with. They said they are offended that there's women who think they need to cover themselves because that implies that he is like a wolf or, a bad person that would go rape her. And he's offended by that. I understand the logic of what he's saying. I've never been offended by it. I don't get offended in general. That's part of the thing. Maybe I should talk about that. Read the comments. Okay. My take, any kind of covering up for a woman comes from indoctrination. Not really. Somebody could be covering up because they don't want to get murdered by their husband. Let's see. I'm going to right now just look at the first level comments instead of getting deep into these. If there's a really good one, then I'll get, unless you have a specific comment you want me to look at, give me the link to that, please, and I'll look at that one. The men who support hijab should blind themselves on the same rationale. That's not answering the question. I prefer women carrying pepper spray and tasers because they actually protect them against predators, unlike clothing. Yeah, it's not answering the question, though. I think carrying weapons or becoming an MMA expert helps in a religion that is based on misogyny. But it would help. Why wouldn't it help? Yeah, meaning it's not because they think that this man is gonna rape them. Don't have a choice, like the one I said. They would rather not wear it, but they're wearing it because they don't want to get beaten up or murdered. Yep, there's another one. Wear it because they want to feel more religious. I imagine some women are wearing the hijab because they don't want to do their hair. I don't know if that's real. I'm just making stuff up here. Like I remember somebody saying that about the mask during this after COVID era. Like some people were saying, I like wearing a mask because it gets to, I don't know, let's say they have some pimples they want to cover. Yeah. The same men who force Muslim women to cover up are the ones who are steering. And that's why they want to do the covering up. It's similar to there's always projection in these things. Like somebody who thinks you're always lying, the reason they're doing that is because they always lie and they think everyone else is like them. Nobody's answering the guy. This person's answering. And they're not saying that they're offended, but they're saying it is offensive. This person says it's offensive to me because it's a vestige of Islamic slavery. But that's not what the guy was asking, the kind of offensive. Yep. I'm more like this. Let's see. Yep. This is a woman saying, if I'm to reinterpret what she's saying, or not reinterpret, paraphrase. Yeah, it's offensive. The idea that men should lower their gaze. Cool. Thank you for letting me know. For subbing. Rarzkill. Go up, you missed a good argument. Like here, to be clear, religious Islamic men are a threat to these women. Yeah, well, yes. Not all of them, but yeah. It's literally why they do it. Yes. You may not be a threat, and they're wrong about you, but they're correct about everyone else. I am Beanham, who reposted your meme. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. And I'm sorry for if I sounded like angry or something. I wasn't angry. Okay. And yeah, and the thing I cared about, like if you use a piece of my writing or a meme or anything like that, you mentioned give credit, but really I just want people to be able to find me. So like if you gave a link and then, let's say 5% of people actually clicked on the link, they would take them to my Twitter and maybe sub there. So it's a way to get people to more of my other stuff. Anyway, yeah, no problem. Yeah, I read that one just now. What is this about? Our Hijabis has 40,000 users. Our Hijabi triple X, which I'm guessing is porn, has 500,000 users. One can make the case that the hijab and the fixation on covering women is probably a huge misunderstanding on how human psychology actually works. Yes. You gave the link like in the comments or something? Cool. Thank you. Anyone can wear whatever the fuck they want as long as it's not being enforced on them by other people. I don't really give a shit. Okay. This person, I'm guessing, is in the West somewhere. Because I just don't imagine this kind of thing happening in a heavily Islamic country. I want to make a reply now. I'm kind of getting tired of reading. If you have one of these comments that you think I should read, please like give me the link or something. And I'm gonna go ahead and make a reply now. Okay. I'm not offended, but I think that's because of a general thing about me. Look at DMs. I don't have any DMs right now. You're from, what's that say, Saudi Arabia? Or Mecca, more specifically? I'm not offended, but I think that's because of a general thing about me. Here's a story that helps clarify. Did you find me from the RX Saudis? Saudis? About 15 years ago, when I was still a Muslim, not that that part matters, I remember being at a business. You searched me up. Well, how did you know to search for me? That's what I mean. Like, how did you find me? About 15 years ago, I was still a Muslim. I remember being at my business. I had my 2 young kids with me, 2 and 3 years old, something like that. Maybe 3 and 4. No, I wasn't a Muslim anymore, because it was after. They were so happy and doing horseplay. It was loud, and there was a customer in the store. I thought it was becoming a problem, so I decided to leave. So I took my kids to the car and realized I forgot something. I went back in. I got the feeling that people were talking about me because everyone got quiet. So when the customer left, you searched Uniting the Cults, then your live popped up. Okay, why did you search Uniting the Cults? Or how did you find out about Uniting the Cults? I got the feeling that people were talking about me because everyone got quiet. So when the customer, so Amuna, if I'm saying that right, I'll look in my messages, but I don't see any right now. It still shows no messages. I got the feeling that people were talking about me because everyone got quiet. So when the customer left, I asked my 2 employees what happened. And they proceeded to tell me that the customer made a racial slur, or the customer said something racist about me. And they were offended for me. They wanted to call the company we did business with so that we could complain about the customer. I thought that was ridiculous to care about it, and I wasn't offended. And I thought it was weird that people were offended for me when I wasn't even offended. My Twitter logo. So you saw my Twitter logo, Uniting the Cults, and then you searched. Okay, so how did you see my Twitter logo? Okay. Anyway, I thought that was ridiculous to care about it, and I wasn't offended, and I thought it was weird that people were offended for me. when I wasn't even offended. And I remember asking them or telling them that like half the people are racist. And they're racist and you don't know because they hide it. So, like, are you mad? Are you offended that they think this stuff or that they said this stuff? And the point is, if you're offended that they said it, don't you think you should also be offended that they think it? And if so, you'd be offended by half the people you meet. You should be offended by half the people you meet. You'd be going around, are you racist? Anyway, I think that tells the story. Your link, and I liked your meme post earlier, so it was saved. Then I came here. Oh, so from the ex-Muslim community on Twitter. I think that's what you're saying. That's where I posted that meme. So let's see. Whoever's watching, which is 4 people, does this make sense to you guys, what I just said here? Is there anything confusing or missing that I should clarify? I'm going to look at my DMs real quick, just in case there is something I'm missing from Amuna. It's the same link. My DM thing doesn't seem to be working well. It's showing I have 5 requests, which I don't have. And it's showing, I think it's glitching, not showing me everything or telling me some stuff is new when it's not, or the other way around. Can you give me the link over here, please? Because it's not working over DM. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and send this since no one said anything. Yeah, so comment. Let's see, what should I do now? Prepare a new post. I'm at an hour and a half. I could go a little bit longer. My butt's starting to hurt, but I could go a little bit longer. Sure, whatever my loss, I guess. How could an immoral religion be true? Yes. Even if it was revealed to be true. And that's the point, though. They're not arguing that those could be compatible. Yeah. Yes, and you misunderstood the point of the whole P. It's not why a loss. Okay. Should I work on another post? Does anyone want me to work on anything before I start another project? Wow, that's a lot of posts. Let's see. Here. Showing you guys my screen. These are all really old posts. What do you care about other than Islam? It didn't get a lot of comments. That's not very useful. I tried to reuse posts that, there's evidence showing that a lot of people are interested. Sometimes, though, it'll be a post that got a lot of engagement, and then when I bring it out the second time, and I always try to make improvements, whatever I change, whatever was different, and I don't know what variables did it, and the post will be shit, like no engagement. Do I have any posts to work on? This one? No, that's a video I want to make. Could I make it now? Maybe I make it now. So I'm trying to remember where this discussion started. It was somewhere in this subreddit, exmuslim. And I don't know what started it, but I said, I was replying to someone saying that hell doesn't exist. And somebody replied to me, you can't know that hell doesn't exist. Oh, I remember where it started. Somebody had said something like, they were referring to their fear of hell, or they were asking us, how is it that you don't fear hell? Something like that. And I said, oh, right here. Oh, I didn't. Yeah. What I had said was, you can't fear what you believe doesn't exist. And they replied, you can't know hell doesn't exist. You can be afraid of things even though it's completely unreasonable. That's what phobias are. What's incorrect about what he's saying here is, or part of it is, he's talking about what is unreasonable rather than what you believe to be unreasonable, or your methods of judging what is reasonable or not. So I said, sure, I know. Just like I know there's no demons or Santa Claus or souls or any other superstitions. So when he says you can't know hell doesn't exist, that's the same as saying you can't know Santa Claus doesn't exist. All superstitions are nonsense. I do not fear what I know doesn't exist. Oh, I remember this now. So I did a podcast with Zorro, which I haven't published yet, where I talk about this. Even if we don't know, we shouldn't waste any time being afraid of it. No proof of hell. We know what happens after you die. We turn to dirt. Let's see. This doesn't seem very interesting to me. I don't know why I thought it was interesting before. I think if I had kept track of some of the previous discussion, that would have been more interesting. I don't have it now, and it won't be easy to go find it if I was to try. I guess I could talk about how we know these things. How do we know there's no Santa Claus? How do we know there's no soul? How do we know there's no demons? How do we even know what constitutes a superstition or not? Maybe I should explain that. So I've written a lot about this. Let me find a post. It should be here. And if it's not, I should put it here. Let's do this. What is an unfalsifiable theory, and what should we do with them? So first I want to explain what a falsifiable theory is. A falsifiable theory is a theory that has these two elements. It presents itself as an empirical claim, meaning that it claims to affect nature. It does make empirical predictions, which means that it's possible for empirical evidence to be found and contradict the prediction. So every scientific theory counts here as a falsifiable theory. And, that's why we do experiments, to try to falsify them. An unfalsifiable theory is a theory that, like the first one, like the falsifiable theory, it presents itself as an empirical claim, meaning that it claims to affect nature. But unlike the other one, it does not make empirical predictions. And that means it's impossible for empirical evidence to be found and to contradict the prediction. Examples: jinn, evil eye, miracles, prophecies, signs of end times, Santa Claus, Bigfoot, black cats cause bad luck, God, not all the versions of God, just the ones that claim to affect nature. What are some other examples? Comment below. So, what should we do with these types of theories, these two types? For falsifiable theories, we should try to find empirical evidence to try to refute the theory. And if we find that contradictory evidence, we recognize that to mean the theory is refuted. And if we find that the evidence agrees with the theory, we treat the theory as the best theory we have until we find a better one. So like Einstein's relativity. For unfalsifiable theories, they are already refuted. It doesn't make sense for something to affect nature while simultaneously there's no possibility to check that it actually affects nature. That's a contradiction. What do you think? For those of you that disagree, please explain why you disagree. For those of you that don't understand what is the point of all this, please say so, and I'll do my best to help you understand. And for those of you that have questions, please ask. And I'm giving some credit here to the person who discovered this concept, falsifiability, Karl Popper. What he was doing was trying to figure out the difference between science and pseudoscience. And another name for pseudoscience is mythology. Did we get any comments? Good ones? Yes, I agree. Karl Popper stated sort of like the obvious. This was only like 70 years ago, and this is what, 400 years after the first kind of official scientists doing any science work. He mentioned the burden of proof thing. And this person said some stuff about falsifiable claims and unfalsifiable claims that I don't agree with, but I don't really want to explain. So that is done. Let's see. Well, aside from the falsifiability thing, what else? I guess, yeah, that's it. That's enough. That concept is how we know what is a superstition and what isn't, and we throw out superstitions. That's it. Hell is a superstition. Let's see. What else? I guess that's it for now. I'm going to go eat and do some exercise and come back and do some more work. And I don't think I'll go live again today, but definitely tomorrow morning. All right. See you guys tomorrow. I'm out.